please welcome Jacqui Poot, Chief Operating Officer, Idea Pharma, a division of SAI Med Partners, and Stat Biotech Startups and Venture Capital reporter Allison DeAngelis.
So we're starting off with a recap.
Ooh,
And some
picky.
music. Indeed.
Oh my gosh, look at the changes year to year.
So landing on 2026, but what you just saw was a summary of the longest running benchmark study on pharmaceutical innovation in our industry. Now, in its 15th year, we have the unique ability to distinguish structural top performance from short-term trends. And every year we try to answer the question, what if you gave the same molecule to two different companies in early phase? Would they be equally successful, and why? If we look at the Innovation and Invention Index, the Invention Index measures a company's potential value. The Innovation Index measures a company's ability to convert that potential value into realized value. And as you can see here on the graph, it's quite a big spread in our industry. Allison and I will be deep diving in some of the key insights that drive the performance of these top 30 global companies. Starting with Eli Lilly, it's actually the first time a company is winning in both innovation and invention. And looking back when we started back in 2014, Lilly was a mid-tier player, ranked number 17th, but it has climbed all the way to being a top-tier innovator. It's made remarkable progress in terms of R&D productivity. They reinvest 21% of their revenue back into their pipeline, which signals a strong belief. And particularly last year, they had strong phase 2 and 3 readouts. And what we see in terms of their R&D spend per approval, it's in line with the industry average, around 4.6 billion. And that's combined with strong commercial impact. So if we look at their revenue, it had 45% growth last year, with more than half coming from Mounjaro and Zepbound. And they continue to deliver there with superior data versus Novo's Wegovy, but also additional cardiovascular and pediatric type 2 outcomes. And then they also continue to expand their pipeline through acquisitions with Verve Therapeutics, SideOne, moving in novel therapeutic modalities. So what we see with Lilly and their sustained performance and improvements is that they have commercial strength with pipeline depth. Then I'm also excited to kind of deep dive in some of the top 10 results on innovation and invention. And notable is Sanofi's climb, 19 places.
That's a big change.
Yes, hitting the third spot in the index. And initially, Sanofi saw a decline in the years before due to loss of exclusivity of some of the legacy products like Lantus, as well as lower pipeline activity. But Sanofi transformed itself into a launch and readout R&D powerhouse. They also saw 25% growth in sales last year, and also have first-in-class and best-in-class assets in development in oncology, rare disease, and immunology. It's not a story without any setbacks, considering the tolebrutinib, but they continue to progress as well as do acquisitions to strengthen their pipeline. And what is notable with Sanofi is that their R&D spend per approval is actually on the lower end, trending around 3 billion. So it demonstrates good R&D productivity.
And remind me, what is the average that we're seeing for R&D spend?
So we measure it over a 5-year time horizon, and then it's 4.6 billion per approval. And then there's big outliers within the top-performing companies.
Okay, so next time I need to know how much it takes, what's the average spend to get a new drug to market? It's around 4 billion.
Yes,
okay.
4.6, yes. Then another company actually demonstrating some of their strongest performance in recent years is GSK. Their strategic pivot is really delivering. They've had also double-digit financial growth, as well as sustained regulatory success, with a first-in-class approval of an antibiotic in an area of high medical need. And also, oncology has re-emerged as a key engine for GSK as well. Their R&D spend per approval is similar to that of Sanofi, and that also signals strong R&D productivity. If we then move to the invention side, I would like to highlight Novartis. What we've seen is the strongest improvement amongst large pharma in terms of improvement on R&D. And they deliver that across cardiovascular, renal, metabolic diseases, immunology, neuroscience, and oncology, and have more than 60 active clinical trials, which is really impressive. And besides that, they also deliver regulatory momentum across these therapy areas. So very strong performance for Novartis. Then on the other side, Pfizer actually dropped off the innovation top 10 ranking and is stalling on the invention side. So this reflects a company that is struggling or having a difficult time post-COVID in terms of the reset. And the extraordinary boost they've had from their vaccine and antiviral is fading, alongside with other patent expiries and increased competition. We do see they continue to have a large R&D engine, but have had setbacks, discontinuations of late-stage programs. They continue to invest, and hopefully also deals, acquisitions, for instance, with Sagan, will help for them to rebuild momentum. But although they are still in the top 10, their pipeline potential needs to convert in approvals as well as market-leading assets.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, as some companies are losing ground, it's also very exciting to actually have a new entrant in the index this year with Genmab. And Genmab reflects a new type of pharma company with deep scientific specialization and commercial impact. They've built on their antibody platform and their proprietary platforms are really delivering clinical products with a strong profile. And what we particularly see is also they have a strong late-stage program in high-value indications. So we do expect them to also continue further in the index.
Okay. What are some of the factors that are changing in drug development right now? I know that the report and the white paper, which folks will get the QR code to download, touches on the influence of like Chinese licensing and AI in particular. Are we seeing that actually make any sort of impact in pharmaceutical pipelines or in their innovation and invention in scores at this time?
Absolutely, great question, and that's one of the elements we've looked into as well. What we see is that top-performing companies apply AI strategically. It's not about pilots and one-offs. Obviously, it often starts with experiments.
Yeah, most companies do.
Yes, but now what you see is that they apply it end-to-end, from discovery into clinical trials and operations, all the way to commercial. And here you see just some use cases being illustrated. And I think particularly on the clinical development side is where value is delivered in terms of greater efficiency, higher probability of success, as well as speed, which how the global landscape is evolving is becoming more and more important, obviously.
Yeah, let's talk about global, because China, I think, has been mentioned already a half dozen times today, if I heard correctly. And this is also the first time in the report that you've had some Chinese companies actually kind of jump into the top 30.
Yes. Also here is, when you look at the overview here, it's a summary of China activity also of the top performing companies. Mm-hmm. And the takeaway is actually that China plays a dual role. On one side, being a strategic base for R&D, manufacturing, and commercialization, and on the other side, as a source for external innovation and licensing.
We've seen a lot of pharmaceutical companies, even in recent weeks, make multi-hundreds of millions of dollars or billion-dollar deals licensing assets from China. So you're saying that basically Chinese companies are doing it both. They're not just relying on licensing out to pharmaceutical companies anymore, but they're actually kind of rising in their own rights.
Rising in their own rights and also
Okay.
building global capabilities and infrastructures to launch globally. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so that kind of ups the ante for the years to come, it sounds like.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's next?
So what's next is, besides, you could say, the external innovation coming from China, there's also obviously global biotechs advancing science. And in follow-up from our China-specific Pharmaceutical Innovation and Invention Index, where we covered Chinese biotech, we're also adding global disruptive pioneers. So the 10 companies represented here have breakthrough science, but are too early stage to be included in the top 30. But we do believe they have the potential to really bring meaningful and innovative products to market. And what's interesting here, and I know also Stat has reported on this as well, but for instance, Parabellus has a deal now with Regeneron, and that's one of our top 10 companies on the global level. Then also Lilly has a collaboration with Haya Therapeutics, a company focused on RNA technology in cardiovascular disease. But it's not that these companies will just deliver, you could say, innovation to big pharma pipelines. Revolution Medicines will be presenting groundbreaking data at ASCO on the pancreatic cancer trial and could very much well become a global player as well.
I did want to touch on that because one other point that's in the white paper, you guys actually look at the spread of regulatory approvals for the top 30 pharma companies versus the rest of the industry. And I think that you said there, you guys report that actually, there's a little bit of a changing dynamic, which is that you're seeing more companies like these global disruptive pioneers, these kind of rising biotechs, be a part of get drugs to market.
Market, yes.
Okay.
You could say
What's changing there?
You could even say it's kind of the same example Genmab has followed, where initially they out-licensed their products and Darzalex being kind of their anchor, but then starting to develop more in-house assets and building that end-to-end commercial organization as well.
Okay. So you guys have been doing this for 15 years.
Yes.
How do you think the industry looks today versus 15 years ago?
Great question. So what we've seen is that coming from, you could say, the single asset blockbuster model 15 years ago, it now has really been replaced with companies that launch platform or kind of franchise products. Obviously, we've seen a lot more complex therapeutic modalities entering the market. 15 years ago, it was heavily focused on small molecules. And that's obviously also exciting when this morning we've been talking about AI and novel technologies, is that will continue putting all these different pieces together to further advance more novel medicines.
Okay, how can people get the white paper?
Great question. So people
Oh my God, it's like I knew.
You knew this was coming, yes. So either approach me after the session, or you can download the white paper also using the QR code, or go to our website.
Jacqui, thank you so much for joining us again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.